Hey you, welcome to my podcast. Do you like amebo, unsolicited advice, and very unconventional opinions about Christianity, mental health, and psychology? Then you're in the right place. It's Monday Morning Brand with Miss James H. Let's go! It's that time again. It's the Monday Morning Brands podcast, and you are welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you had a very lovely weekend and you're ready for what the week has to offer. And I would like to appreciate my day ones, those who have been listening to me from the very first day Monday Morning Run started to this very day. Thank you so much for the support. And if this is your first time listening to the Monday Morning Rant, you're not left out. Thank you so much for choosing to join this family of love. I promise you're going to have a very jolly good ride. You can go through my YouTube channel, look for any of the topics that resonates with your heart and listen to it so you can get the loop of what Monday Morning Rant is about. Yeah, and if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. Because this year we're hoping we'll reach that 1,000 subscribers so I can also upscale on some other things on my end. Thank you so much. So we're going on with the topic we started 2 weeks ago, which is subtle reasons why your relationship won't last. Last week I spoke about communication, and I can't even remember the first point, but the last point is what I remember, which is communication. And this week I'll be talking about attachment styles, which is sort of still attached to communication, because your attachment styles affects how you communicate with people you care about, not just in a romantic relationship, but also with your colleagues, with friends, with life generally, how you relate with other people. So it also affects how you communicate. This week is sort of a very psychology based episode. I am your Pajawiri therapist on this special episode. Woo, whoop, whoop, whoop. Celebrate grace. Yes. So this week I am going to be talking not just based on head knowledge or experience or anything, but based on extensive study that I personally did about attachment styles. Stay open-minded so you can diagnose yourself as I explain what different kinds of attachment styles looks like. You can diagnose yourself, know, oh, this is why I react like this is why I behave like this is why I treat communication like this is why I treat other people around me like this. So pay attention, and if you want to jot things down, you can jot things down or mentally note anything that resonates with your heart. Self-diagnose and know for sure what your attachment style is. Okay, let's get into the groove. So what are attachment styles? Attachment styles can be described as the patterns of bonding with other humans that people learn as children and carry into their adult relationships. They are typically thought to originate from the kind of care you got from your caregivers, which are your parents or whatever adults you grew up with, right? So it can be defined or can be said to be how your first relationship or your first contacts in life with how to relate with other humans continuously affects how you keep relating with other humans you meet along life. So think of it as your first reaction to eating chicken, right? The first time you ever tasted chicken. Whatever the person that cooked that chicken put in the chicken formed your idea of what the taste of chicken is. I don't know if that makes sense. For some of us, now for somebody like me, I stopped eating noodles at some point because there was a time I ate noodles and I threw up because I was sick, or the way it was made, it was soggy. And that taste of noodles registered in my head because I was quite young. I was a child at the time. It registered, and till date, I've not been able to eat noodles. So attachment styles are similar. It's how you see relationship with other humans based on what your relationship with the first humans you met looks like. So whatever your relationship with your parents, your siblings, the first people you saw and met around you looks like, that is majorly what forms your attachment style and how you continuously relate to other humans in your life. Now, attachment styles don't just form from your first relationship with humans. It can also be along the line. So if you have earlier on in life been in a bad relationship, a toxic relationship, an abusive relationship, or you lived with toxic people at a particular point in time, even if your initial relationship with your parents was good, you was solid, your parents were solid, your siblings treat you nicely, but along the line, maybe in your teenage years, when you got a bit older, you were in a bad relationship that traumatized you, or you had a traumatic experience with relationship to humans, it can still change what your attachment style is. So you can start off having a secure attachment style, and over time, you become an anxiously attached person, right? So that's the basics of what attachment styles are. Now we have two categories of attachment styles. We have the secure attachment style and we have the insecure attachment style. Now, the insecure attachment style is split into three different kinds. We have the anxious or preoccupied attachment style, we have the avoidant or dismissive attachment style, and we have the fearful or disorganized attachment style. So these three are the three ca- three kinds of insecure attachment styles. So what's the secure attachment style? Secure attachment styles forms in people who as kids they felt safe, they felt valued, understood, comforted by their parents. They were heard. They were not handled like it was a barracks kind of thing. So they could relate properly with their parents. They could tell their parents when they're feeling unsafe. When they did something good, they were appreciated by their parents or by the people around them. And also in relationships with other humans so far, they've had good experiences. So it influences their thoughts on how human relationship is. They understand that the way other people treat them doesn't automatically define the kind of person that they are. They have good self-esteem, they feel good about themselves, they feel good about being alone. Yes, they are, because there are people that being alone is almost like a death sentence. They don't know how to enjoy their own company. So when you see people that tend to enjoy their company in a safe way, meaning when they are also in the midst of other people, they can enjoy other people's presence. Then when they are alone, they also enjoy their own presence and their own time with themselves. That is a secure person in their attachment style with other people. That means when people are not around, they feel okay. When people are around, they feel okay. There's no separation in their mind when people's presence, physical presence, is not around them. They feel good in themselves. They have good self-esteem. They are emotionally available for the people they care about. They are not emotionally distant. And they also are emotionally open to the people around them. So they are okay being vulnerable. Oh, this is what's doing me right now. They also accept other people's vulnerability. They know how to regulate their emotions. So when something goes wrong, they are sad, they cry and get better, they feel better, they don't dwell in it. When they're also positive and excited, they don't go overboard. So they know how to self regulate emotions. They also know how to manage conflicts. They are not the type you fight with, and rather than talk to you, they're talking to other people about what you did. They are the kind of people that will sit you down and be like, okay, this is what you did. I didn't like it. Or the kind of people that when they feel you are distant because something happened, they call you and say, let's discuss this thing so our friendship can move on and we can move past this. So they are very good with communication. They know how to communicate. They know how to regulate themselves. They know how to be there for people and be there for themselves. They balance their relationships out properly. Now, coming to romantic relationship, when you are in a relationship with a securely attached person, they are kind, they are thoughtful. When you tell them, oh, this is what you did that I didn't like, they don't feel bad about criticism, right? They take criticism positively, like, okay, it's something I can use to self-evaluate. And it doesn't automatically mean they begin to feel bad about themselves. If your criticism is based on false information, they understand their self-worth is safe in whatever your criticism is. So they take your criticism as a means of evaluation. And when they are able to evaluate, they can tell whether it's something they should take into cognizance or something they should dump and throw away. They are kind to you. They are thoughtful. When you tell them this is what I like, they mentally take note of it. They psychologically take note of it, and they can be very romantic. Romantic. When you see someone that we are still getting to that too. Being romantic now can spread over the toxic attachment styles too. But when it's the positive type, where they are not using romance to manipulate you or using sweetness and gifts and thoughtfulness to manipulate you into doing something or letting go of something, that is a securely attached person. And they don't know how to be jealous in an unhealthy way. Jealousy is good in a relationship when it's controlled and minimal. You get the same way God is jealous about us because he loves us. So jealousy can be okay when it's safe. Securely attached people have that kind of where they protect you, they guide you, they are there for you, they allow you be your own person while still being there for you and protecting you and protecting your interests. And they do all of this without shrinking themselves. They don't shrink and try to fold into who they are not because they are trying to please you. You get the picture. I'm sure you must have met one or two people like this in your life that are like that, or you might have dated someone, or you might be currently dating someone who is like that. Glory be to God and thank God for you. Securely attached people, they are a bliss to be around. They are a bliss to be friends with. It's just nice. It's just sweet. Right? This doesn't mean for people that are not there yet is a death sentence. Attachment styles change based on experience. So I'm going to say this before we leave the secure attachment thing. I said it earlier that, okay, people that are securely attached are people that had good childhoods, they didn't have traumas to deal with. But not really. Sometimes there are people that started off with a certain kind of attachment, which is anxious or avoidance because of the things they went through. And then along the line in their life, even in their adult life, they became securely attached people because they chose intentionality. They chose to change. They saw a problem like, oh, the way I attach to people and the way I treat people around me, it's not nice. It's something I can change. So they changed. So people change attachment styles. Your attachment style can move. You can move from being an anxious person to being an avoidant, which often happens when anxious people have gone through a lot. They switch to being either disorganized or being an avoidant, or they choose to also take all the experiences, mold it into a positive thing, and become a securely attached person. So if you're not there yet, it is not a death sentence, right? Yeah. So that is that about securely attached people. Let's move on to the first category under the insecure attachment style, which is the anxious attachment style. So the anxious attachment style often forms in people who were abandoned, often as kids. If you were left often with strangers, strange people were always babysitting you, or at some point in your childhood, you went from being in a secure environment to moving to somewhere you didn't feel safe. For instance, there are people that experience having to leave their parents. Maybe they lost a parent or lost both parents and they had to move in with an uncle or an auntie. They were being maltreated there. They had to earn love. They had to do something to prove their worth. You have to behave yourself or do certain things for them to appreciate you, or for them to even show you any sense of love or any sense of acceptance. People who go through things like this in their childhood tend to be anxiously attached. Also, for people that lived with very strict parents, if You lived with parents that had iron hand. You know that kind of strict streets. As you are talking, they are keeping you quiet. Even when you didn't do something wrong, but they thought you did something wrong, you got punished for it. And you had to prove that you are this good child. Often you had to work to get validation from your parents. You tend to be an anxiously attached person. So most likely, this strict parenting can also cause avoidance, but most of the time it's in a different sense. We are getting there. So for anxious people, they tend to attach their self-worth to how other people around them treat them. So most anxiously attached people have low self-esteem. If they sense that people around them don't like them, or someone doesn't treat them the way they thought they'll be treated, or someone they love, the person's mood changes towards them, they can sense every light change in tone, every light change in body language. Did you not see the way she even looked at me? I think she doesn't like me. I think she's angry at me. Or did I do something? They are the ones that are always scared and worried about what people think about them, what people they care about think, or when people they care about are offended by something they did, they are quick to apologize because they don't want to offend you. Even when that person hurts them, they find a way to quickly make peace so that everything can be fine. They don't want any rancor or issue. They want to be loved. They want to be cared for. They tend to want to work for your love. They will try to be on your good side so you can see them as this nice person. So most of the time, anxiously attached people are people pleasers. So if you find yourself often trying to please people against your own wish, against your own comfort, against your own self what now self-care, yes, against your own self-care, putting your own safety at risk to please people, you are an anxiously attached person. Also, if you take criticism too seriously, like when someone tells you, this thing that you did, I didn't like it, then that this thing you did, I didn't like, you begin to say, am I a horrible person? So that's how wicked I am. So I'm just this terrible. You don't know how to take criticism and be like, oh, this thing I did looks this certain way. Oh, I'm really sorry about that. You are an anxiously attached person. You often don't know, you are very sensitive to criticism. When even in your workplace, when you deliver on a task and it is not what your boss wants, and they try to correct you or tell you at this thing, you begin to question the entirety of your career. Am I even good at this job? So you self-doubt a lot. You are most likely an anxiously attached person. If you also find it hard to spend time alone, you don't like being alone, and you have this overwhelming fear of rejection or abandonment, like the fear of my friends just leaving me and not wanting to be friends with me anymore, breaks your heart and makes you feel like the world is about to end, you are an anxiously attached person. If you also feel jealousy extra strongly, you're in a relationship and your boyfriend runs into an old friend and gives that old friend a hug. That hug, even if the hug was not so serious, you will think about the hug throughout that week. Like, did it mean something? Did it not mean something? Jealousy, they hold your throat, they hold your neck. You are most likely an anxiously attached person. Also, in romantic relationship, if you tend to need validation a lot, do you even love me? Are you still in love with me? You constantly need to hear it. You constantly need to know for sure, is this person still okay with me? Then the way the person treats you, you begin to measure your self-worth by how you are being treated. You are an anxiously attached person. Then if you are the type that try to manipulate people, how will I put it now? I've heard of cases where someone tries to commit suicide, or maybe not try to commit suicide, but threatens, like, I'm going to kill myself if you don't come now. If you don't tell me you are sorry, I'm going to kill myself. Things like that. You're an anxiously attached person. It is very, very toxic and bad for even your mental health. Or the overly clingy ones, the ones that when they're in relationship with you is problem, is serious problem, because then go monitor you past Holy Spirit every where are you, where are you, Why did I called you now? You didn't pick my call. Why didn't you pick my call? Ah, sorry, I was inside the toilet. I was pooing. I plugged my phone to chat. Why? I don't believe you. Switch to video call. Let me see where you are. This one, anxiously attached, insecure, anxiously attached style. Or if you always want to be in a relationship, once one relationship ends, before you think twice and breathe twice, you don't just, that loneliness or being alone or being by yourself or not seeing someone to ask you every day, how are you doing? Have you eaten? What are you wearing? All those things. So you're always craving relationship, always craving intimacy, always craving friendship. You don't know how to be by yourself. So even when you're supposed to be getting over a previous relationship or allowing your mental self to breathe before entering another, you have jumped inside another one because you just want to feel loved, you just want to feel embraced by somebody else. You're an anxiously attached person. I don't talk plenty categories, right? I can't mention all the symptoms of anxious attachment, but these are the few ones I can mention. Moving on, I think I've said more than enough about what anxious attachment looks like. So, if any of the things I've said, or at least maybe 50 to 60% of the things I said looks like you're an anxiously attached person. Let's move to avoidant. So, avoidant attachment style is often formed in people who had to mature early and were not kids for long, due to maybe continuous neglect, unavailability of all the adults around them in their formative years, or they learned to take care of themselves too early. They had to work in adult shoes too early, or had to make decisions, major life decisions for themselves as kids or as young adults. People like this tend to become avoidant. So, what are avoidant people or avoidantly attached people? What do they look like? What are the symptoms of that shows you that your attachment style is avoidant? The first one is they have strong sense of independence. When you meet people that are saying things like, when I get married, I want to have my own room. Why will I be sharing a bed always with another person? I can't do it. So they have this very immensely strong sense of independence. They dismiss others easily and quickly. So when you're with an avoidant person in a relationship, you are talking about, this is my feelings. They're like, "Ilele, itungbe wabai." What are you even talking about? Please go one side. So they tend to dismiss people quickly. They don't want conflict, not because they are scared of it, but because they just don't care, really. Feelings makes them feel uncomfortable. Anything that has to do with emotional talk, my feelings, you are crying, you are doing, they will feel so uncomfortable. They just want to leave that place. Like, please move on. Or you sit them down and say, let's have this conversation about one or two. This is what you did. They don't want anything that has to do with intense communication, communicating about their feelings, being vulnerable, or you being vulnerable to themselves makes them feel uncomfortable. Please don't tell me your problems. Don't tell me what you're feeling. Me, self, I'll not tell you what I'm feeling. Avoidant people, that's what they are like. So they avoid all sense of intimacy. They don't want people too close. They don't even want you two they go, yeah. Once they see that you are trying to get close to them or you are trying to be too nice or too wanting, I beg, they go front, they know like then they tend to prefer casual relationships. So if you see that you have commitment issues, maybe someone you are doing a talking stage with or situationship stage with, whatever you call it, is beginning to show that they have feelings for you. If their feelings for you begins to make you feel uncomfortable, you are most likely an avoidant person. So someone you've been talking to for a while now of the opposite sex is showing interest in you. This can go both ways. Oh, it goes for both male and female. It's not gender specific. It's not specific to any gender. There are ladies that are avoidant, there are men that are avoidant. So they are scared of commitment. Anything that looks like, marriage? No. Oh, she's catching feelings for me too much. Oh, why is she cooking and bringing it to my house? Oh, why is she asking too intentional questions? It raises a red flag in their head. They don't want to get too close to you and they don't want you to get too close to them. So people that tend to struggle with immorality in the sense of having casual sex are mostly avoidant people. They don't want to feel any sense of connection to you. That'll make them now feel they owe you something, or that makes them feel vulnerable towards you. It scares them. They don't want it. So anything that looks like commitment in the relationship, marriage, specific and defined relationship makes them feel uncomfortable. So if you see someone that is often jumping from one situationship to another, and be like, I thought people were dating. Dating can no, we're not dating, but no, no, no. We're just friends. We're just talking. Avoidance. They don't want anything to do with feelings, catching of feelings and all of that. They would rather keep it casual and keep it moving. Then they don't know how to trust easily. If you see people that have immense and strong trust issues, now, for anxious people, is often tilted towards jealousy, but for avoidance, is tilted towards distrust. They don't trust you. So if you say something, before they take what you say to heart or take it seriously, they have to verify. I really love you. I really care about you. They're like, why? Why do you care about? Why do you love me? Why? What's your reason? They don't trust what you're saying, or you are saying something about yourself to them. They don't. There's just that strong immense distrust for whatever is coming out of your mouth. So if in your relationship your partner has accused you of being emotionally distant or being so closed off, like, I don't even know what's going on in your head, I don't know when you're happy, I don't know when you're sad, you're just closed off, you're rigid, you're intolerant, or your partner has told you, whenever I talk to you about my feelings, you dismiss them, or whenever I come to you with communication issues in our marriage or in our relationship, you dismiss them, you're an avoidant person. So you see people like that, they'll be like, you're too clingy, you're too needy, waiting safe, you're on too much. We don't need to talk every day. Now that one I hear will shock me. We don't need to. Why are you in a relationship and you people are talking every day? It means you're not busy. It means you don't have work that you're doing. You're just an avoidant person. You rather have your sense of freedom and not need to be in anybody's emotions, and also not be emotional with them. So let's just be casual and keep it moving. Or you see the ones that engage in affairs, they cheat on you. Like, I didn't mean anything now. You're taking this thing too seriously. It was just physical. It was nothing. It was all physical. Or the ones that are always begging to be romantic. I told you I like this thing and you didn't get me that for my birthday, or you didn't even tell me happy birthday on my birthday. You didn't greet me, you didn't wish me, you didn't buy me any gifts. You've not told me you love me in 6 months now. Now them. And the funny thing about avoidance is deep down, deep down, deep beneath that independence, that sense of freedom, that all of it is a very strong desire to actually be loved. They want to be loved. They want to be vulnerable with people, but they're so scared of it that they don't even know how to get to that place of bringing out that desire to the surface. So all of these, this week I'm going to be pointing out the negative attachment styles, rather the insecure attachment styles. Next week, we're going to talk about how to correct these styles in yourself. If you see any of these things and you see it as what your attachment style is, you can fix it. It's something that can be fixed. So don't think it's a death sentence, right? So let's move to the last category of attachments, insecure attachment styles, which is the disorganized or fearful. Disorganized attachment style or fearful attachment style is often formed in people that experienced immense trauma when they were kids, or people that had inconsistent childhoods. There were extremely happy moments, there were very sad moments, there was no knowing what certainly was going to happen, or they had parents that also, because of trauma they have experienced. I think this is what most people don't know, that bad parents too, we have their own story, right? There'll be a reason why that person is as negative as they are. So if they had parents or caregivers that were inconsistent, today they are loving you, tomorrow they are shouting at you for absolutely no reason. Get out of my sight. You are the reason why my life went the way it went. I've heard cases like that where mothers that either had kids out of wedlock poured the hatred on the child. So that child in this case often comes out to have the disorganized attachment style. If your childhood was inconsistent, there was no consistent love and there was no consistent hate, or there were cases of immense trauma like sexual assault, or you often saw your drunk dad hit your mom and then the next day he's kissing and loving on her. So you don't know for sure what love is supposed to look like because it looked like a mixture of both hatred and love. You are most likely going to develop a disorganized attachment style. Or if even in your adult life is when all the traumas came, it's possible for you to now become a disorganizedly attached person or a fearfully attached person. Now, what does it look like in adults? When you're a disorganized attached person, what does it look like? So as adults, they have issues trusting people. They have strong difficulty trusting people. They have trouble regulating their emotions. So if you've met someone that maybe something happens, they begin to hit their head on the wall, or they start to punch the wall, or when they're angry, they just see black. I've seen people that actually have blind rage. When you see someone that often gets into a blind rage, your attachment style is disorganized. When you're angry, you are breaking things, you are screaming things, you are saying things you don't mean just to hurt the other person, you are disorganized in your attachment. The disorganized attachment style is actually the worst of the three insecure attachment because they often have symptoms of both avoidance and anxious. So if in all the categories I've listed now, the things I listed under anxious and the things I listed under avoidance, you can see the two in your life. You are a disorganized attached person. So sometimes you are very close to your partner, you are loving on them, you are being sweet, you are being romantic, and the next minute you just want to be by yourself. You just want to be away from them. You don't want to be near them. You want to be by yourself. You are disorganized in your attachments. Then people that tend to ghost, you are disorganized in your you when there's conflict or there's something wrong, your own is to run. And the running is not the run of can I have small time to think about this thing? No. You can ghost your partner for 1 month, 2 months. I've heard stories where una relationship or boyfriend, girlfriend, small argument, next thing your girlfriend will block you and she doesn't unblock you. You try to reach her, you're calling her friends, you're calling different people to reach her, you're unable to reach her for at least 2 months. And then she comes back and be like, oh, I was in a phase. If you are that kind of person that likes to ghost, you are disorganized in your attachment style. If you find intimacy, both physical and psychological intimacy, if you find it confusing, like you don't know how to go about it, or when it happens you don't know how to react. When someone leans in for a hug, you don't know whether to wrap your hands around your hand, you just get stiff or you get numb. You're most likely disorganized in your attachments. You don't know how to react to emotions. Sometimes you are at the extreme of also emotional, the other times you're at the extreme of being numb and not feeling anything. You are disorganized in your attachment style. This style is often the most dangerous, the most scary, so to say. This doesn't mean if that is who you are, you cannot change. Change is possible for everyone if you are open to it and your mind is open to it and you decide consciously through self-awareness and deliberate work to be betterly attached. It is possible. So it's not a death sentence because the way they talk now is dangerous, it's a bad attachment that even if it is you, you can always change, right? And also people that intentionally now go for toxic partners. The ones that had drunk dads that always beat their moms. Then you discover that in your own adult life too, you intention when someone comes to you with kindness and thoughtfulness and love, when you meet someone who is securely attached, it scares you, it frightens you, or it confuses you. So you rather go for the one you are used to, which is the abuse. So when you see people that often repeat patterns of bad relationships, you've had 5 exes and the 5 of them were alcoholics that were hitting you, or the 5 of them were avoidance, unavailable to you, emotionally and physically and in all sense of availability, they treated you like trash or treated you like second fiddle, and you keep repeating that same pattern of relationship, you are disorganized in your attachment style. This attachment style is often the most difficult to handle in relationships, right? If you are in a relationship with a disorganizedly attached person, it can be work, can be difficult because sometimes they are nice and sweet, sometimes they are the opposite, they are the devil themselves, raging and saying a lot of negative things or getting physical with you, or they totally ghost you and run away, or it's so difficult to be in a relationship with them. Regardless of all this being said, there are many other things I can say regarding disorganized attachment styles. Also, people that tend to repeat patterns of the negativity in their childhood or their parents, the ones that be like, I don't want to ever be like my dad. Then you find yourself becoming like that, your dad. You are disorganized in your attachments. All of this is not a death sentence. I say for the 100th time, you can change, work can be done, and you go from being that disorganized attached person to being securely attached in your relationship, being a better partner, being a better friend, and being a better family member, right? So this week I'm going to stop here. Next week we're going to talk about how to correct these attachment styles in yourself, and also how to help your partner who is like that change. This doesn't mean if you are with a partner who is anxiously attached or avoidant in the attachment, it means, oh yeah, let's break up. Red flag everywhere. No. Sometimes these things are things that can be fixed, that can be worked on through communication and deliberate, intentional work. So it's not a death sentence. But if una dey date and they don't dey deck you, before you now go from being a securely attached person to being an anxiously attached person because you are dating a disorganizedly attached person. Word. Do you get? You are secure in your attachment, but you are with someone who is disorganized. Before you know what's happening, they begin to rub off on you, and you, most of the time, you now start tilting towards anxiety in your relationship with them. If that is the case, breaking up might be the option, right? Before you say, I want to help somebody, they will now end up helping you. You get? That will be all for now. Welcome to my lecture, because today be like lecture. I hope you're able to get one or two things, and at the end of this episode, I hope you now know what your attachment style is and you are open to doing better. Yeah, see you again next week on another episode of the Monday Morning Rant podcast. Adios, amigos.